Brown, former Senator Scott Brown, and former Clinton aide Simon Rosenberg. Scott Brown, to you, a lot of people thought this would be the outcome, although in the beginning when James Comey began speaking, it sounded like he was laying out the groundwork for an indictment.
I thought he laid it out quite eloquently, and I think everybody was a little bit surprised that he didn't at least recommend a misdemeanor type of charge moving forward, because he laid out very succinctly what the problems were. And, you know, you can poo-poo it all you want, Charles, but what it did is it does not discourage elected officials in the future to do the same exact thing and be held accountable. She did a couple of things. She avoided FOIA by having a personal server. She lied, and what we found out based on his facts, she lied because she said she never sent or received any classified emails. Well, we know that's not true. So it just contributes to the narrative that she can't be trusted and that she's a liar. And the good news is the American people finally understand what those facts are, and ultimately they'll make their own decisions moving forward.
Simon, he started the beginning of the press conference, and he said that he talked about the federal statute, and he says making it a felony to mishandle classified information either intentionally or in a grossly negligent way. It felt like he himself laid out the argument for at least a grossly negligent way, if nothing else.
Listen, I'm not a lawyer, and this has been very complicated for those of us not on the inside of this to follow. And you know, the decision's been made. I mean, I think that where we are now, and I know that we're going to be litigating this for years to come, but practically for this campaign, this issue is really settled now. Well, Hillary Clinton is going to be the nominee, and it is going to be a Trump-Clinton race this fall. And she's leading right now, and I think that the Republicans who are looking for some kind of silver bullet here, it's just not going to happen. I mean, it's not going to amount to something. With all due respect, Simon,
her numbers are starting to fall in poll after poll in the more recent polls.
Maybe.
Her unfavorable ratings are sky high. Her trustworthiness is really questionable amongst the American public. And even Bernie Sanders has come out already since James Comey has spoken, and it doesn't sound like he's throwing in a towel. So I would think someone in that camp is still sweating, speaking of silver bullets, a lot of bullets.
Hey, Charles?
I just think that right now, you know, I think all of us didn't know what was going to happen, when this was going to happen. What happened today is that this issue of the emails has been largely settled for this election cycle. And if the Republicans want to defeat her, they're going to have to use other means to do so. I don't think this is going to do it for them this year.
All right, Scott Brown, it's nothing to see here, folks. Move on.
Yeah, Charles, listen, I am an attorney, and he did lay out a grossly negligent opportunity, that basic factor to move forward. And I was very surprised, and others are going to be surprised. And it doesn't smell right in that here she is getting on the plane with Air Force One with the president, and he speaks a half an hour before. It's just too cute. And while I have a tremendous amount of respect for the FBI director, I'm also going to hold back my final judgment by getting hopefully more information as to what the process was moving forward, because I know right now Martha Stewart and General Petraeus is saying, like, what the heck's going on here? What about us? I mean, far less it appears on its face, and yet they had far more serious consequences.
Senator Brown, though, do you think this will have an impact on the election, which is still months away from now? Will we have so many other things that have come up between now and November?
Yeah, I think a combination, Charles. I think initially this adds to the narrative and, quite frankly, the facts that she's not being honest with the American people. She avoided she put up the server to avoid, you know, obviously the American people knowing what she was doing. She lied when she said there were no top secret or secret information being passed. We know that's not true. And the fact that she would be so callous as to put these things in front of potential hostile actors and others, and she knew or should have known, and I know we spoke when I was on your show months ago. It doesn't matter if they're marked. She knew or should have known as the Secretary of State what's classified and what's not. It just goes to the fact that, you know, people don't like her, they don't trust her, and the polls are shifting, as you've referenced earlier. They just don't want to admit it, I guess.
Well, you know, here's the thing, Simon. Okay, she dodged a criminal bullet today, but in a court of public opinion, again, there were several snippets of James Comey's press conference that Donald Trump could just put out there as an ad. He doesn't have to do anything. Just put it out there. A 30-second commercial. He really lit into Hillary Clinton and how she either was indifferent or arrogant or a combination of all with respect to national security. Even using a private server in foreign lands, foreign countries that we know they probably got involved in and looked at everything that she had.
Look, I've been very critical of Secretary Clinton for this, right? On air, in private, right? I have come on Fox many times and been incredibly critical of her. I'm still astonished that this took place. I'm astonished that it took place for the length of time that it did. My sense as a political strategist and a political observer is that she's already taken the hit for this. People know that she did something bad. I will be surprised, and I could be wrong, and Charles, I'm happy to come back on the air in a few months, right, and talk about this. I am going to be surprised if there's any additional information today that's going to be able to be used by Republicans to further weaken her position. She's already taken an enormous hit in her public standing over this email stuff, and I don't think that today the narrative was pushed any further than what people already understand.
All right.
But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
We'll see. All right, guys, thank you both very much. Really appreciate it.
All right, Charles.
Thank you.
In the meantime,